Today we're going to look at derivatives and graphs. A function has an absolute maximum, also called a global maximum, at a point C if f of c is greater than f of x for all d, where d is the domain. So if what that's saying is if f of c is a bigger value than all the other f of x's in the whole graph, then that's your absolute or global maximum. Similarly, f has an absolute minimum at c if f of c is less than all the other f of x's for all x in the domain again. This f of c is called the minimum value of f on d. Maximum and the absolute max and min values are called extreme values. So taking a look at the picture down here, we would say that here the highest overall value in the whole graph would be at d. So f of d here would be the absolute max. And then our overall lowest point here would be at a. So f of a is the absolute minimum. So absolute max, absolute min, or global min, global max, that's the highest and lowest overall point on the entire graph. Also called extreme values. A function has a local max or also called relative max at c if f of c is greater than all the other f of x around that area. So in the general area, if it's the highest value, then it's a local max. Local min, same thing if it's the lowest point in its general area. So on this same graph here, let's pick out our absolute local max and min. So we would say that b here, f of b, since it's higher than all the points around it, that's a local max. C here, f of c, that'd be a local min because it's smaller than the points around it. D, f of d here would be a local max. And then E over here, f of e, would be a local min. So those would be the max and min, local max and min values. Now remember before on the slide before we said that this one was a f of d was also an absolute max. You can be an absolute max and a local max at the same time if that local max also ends up being the highest overall point, or same thing with absolute min. All right, so this example, they show the graph of this function from -1 to 4. They want us to find all absolute max or min values and any local max or min values. Pause the video, see what you remember from this, and see if you can pick them out, and then we'll check. All right, let's see what you got. Absolute max on this one would be right here, because that's the highest overall point. The lowest overall point is right here, so that's our absolute min. Our local ones, our local ones can't be endpoints. They have to be the points in between. So this would be a local min. This one is a local max. This point, even though it's the absolute min, it's also a local min as well. So those would be all the points on that graph.